Vinaka, welcome. You're Australian. How are you, mate? And even some from Bolivia. ¿Cómo está? Hola. And we couldn't ask for more beautiful surroundings, could we? To come together today for this wedding reception. Normally at a wedding we say to people, thanks for coming today. Some have come a long way. Well, everyone's come a long way today, so thank you everybody for coming all this way, but I'm sure you think it's worth it. Such a beautiful surroundings. Now, I've been to many weddings before. Those who know me, and there's some don't of course, but I used to play in a wedding band with Fliss Chickley, and we've been to many weddings. And the hardest part of a wedding is when the wedding's over, then you're hanging around waiting for the reception. And I've waited for a lot of receptions, but 6 months. Record. But once again, it's absolutely worth it. We're so pleased that we're having this here with you right now. And the location is perfect. You two look stunning. I'm going to use one of Cody's phrases here. You look fabulously divine. Cody, can't bite. But when we look at this surroundings, we see all your friends that come all this way. That's how much they think of you. It helps us to just have a glimpse of what the first wedding would have been like. Because that was, with, as fantastic as you two look, that was two perfect people in paradise. And weddings and marriage go back right to the beginning of our history as humans. We know that, and those here know that Cody and RLA are Bible students. We're just going to refer to the Bible for a few moments, if we might. The very first marriage took place in the Garden of Eden. It was Adam and Eve. But do you know what happened before that? Have a think about it. Adam was just wandering around, and he had it really good. He was perfect, he was buffed, he was perfect health, he looked fantastic, he had the best job in the world, but he was lonely. And he saw all the animals, and he was naming the animals, and he felt a little bit sorry for himself, because he said, I'm on my own. And it's interesting, he didn't just say this. If you look at Genesis 2:18, it actually says, Jehovah said, it is not good for the man to continue to be alone. I'm going to make a helper for him as a complement for him. Now it's interesting, if you look at that, a helper and a complement, some people today find that a bit offensive, and they say, well, a wife is not just some sort of helper or complement. She's not like a nice car. But it's interesting, that's not what that word means. It's spelled differently. The word complement comes from the word complete. It's like you get two things that are good, and you bring them together and they're better. Now, you've probably experienced this today, friends, or over the last few days. You get a nice bottle of wine, and that's fantastic. You get a beautiful meal, that's also fantastic. But you bring them together, and they're even better. And that's exactly what happened when Jehovah brought Adam and Eve together. They were two great people, but together they were even better. They were fabulous. It was interesting too, so that after Jehovah brought Eve to Adam, he was so happy, he said, at last, bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh. And then they went on to show that marriage is actually a permanent union. It said that is why a man will leave his father and his mother, he will stick to his wife, they'll become one flesh. Jesus quoted that thousands of years later, talking about the relationship between him and his father, Jehovah. He said, we are one, and his disciples. So they're one in unity, just as you two are too. And because Jehovah's a God of love and he's a happy God, that's what he wants you to do. He wants you to be happy and love for a very long time. But it's easy in Fiji, isn't it? Of course you're in love, look at you two. And you're surrounded by these beautiful conditions, but how do you make this last? When you get home, when the years roll on, children may come, problems may arise. How do you keep that happiness and that love going in your marriage? Well, for a Christian marriage to last, there is something that you need to do. And I'm just going to quote from